What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed. I'm almost at 1,500 subscribers, so I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. So I took a break, right, from recapping Love and Marriage Huntsville, and I did so to stand with the blackout, and I did not have all the information, right? So let me explain really quickly. So, as you guys know, Maurice Scott was suing Miss Titanic, and I believe here for hot tea. And I've been, watching the videos about the court case. What I did not know, though, was, and I learned from this episode, was that Miss Black Titanic went to Stormy Steele's warehouse. I didn't know that. I thought it was just between Maurice and Miss Black Titanic. And I thought that it was horrible that he was suing this older lady, this content creator, which I still do. And I'm glad that they're countersuing, by the way. However, after Kiki passed, I wanted to watch this episode. I made a recap video about Kiki Jabbar, may she rest in peace. But I just realized that, I made a decision based on half of the information. So I wanted to let you guys know that I am now going to start recapping the show again. Not only because of that, right? Kiki passing, I found out about Miss Black Titanic, which I still love her, but I didn't know that the situation with her and Stomi. I just, like I said, I was only going on half of the information about Maurice Scott suing the content creators, which and I hope that they are victorious in court. But also, thirdly, they're going to bring back Dr. Francis. And as you guys know, I'm such a big advocate for therapy, and I really enjoyed watching this episode. So let me go ahead and get into it. So the opening scene is where, Nell Fletcher, she comes to see her husband, Chris, at his real estate office. And she's being really open and transparent with him about the fact that their adult children borrowing all this money from them is really messing with her mental health. Safety and security are big for everyone, but especially women, especially, after you get a certain age, like you want that safety, you want that security. And listen, she's been a business owner, owning her own daycare for decades. And, her husband is a successful real estate broker. They have a beautiful home and a beautiful family. But at some point, she would like to enjoy the fruits of her labor, and there's nothing wrong with that. So Chris encourages her to have a dinner. She's like, I ain't cooking. He's like, come on, Nell, we got to eat. And so, she's like, well, if you ask me, there's a certain way to ask someone, that you want something done, right? So he softens his approach. I like their banter. I think they're a very cute couple. But they do end up inviting all the kids over to the house for dinner. That's the last scene. So speaking of Chris Fletcher, he goes and he is showing the house that Martell has built, which, okay, I don't know if he successfully passed his builder's license exam. I would hope so. I've heard people, in the YouTube streets say that he has not. I hope that doesn't bring more legal trouble his way, especially since he has a pending case with the whole, DV harassing text messages, and I'll get into that in a second. But anyway, this is, his house that he built. Maybe he built it when he was still married with Melly. I don't know. Or had someone, I think he had someone with a license help him do it. I don't think he did it by himself. But that's neither here nor there, right? It's built. It's a very nice, home. They go inside. Chris shows them all the rooms. They have a nice, spacious backyard. And Moses and Sunni are saying that they want to move from St. Louis to Huntsville just to be, away from all of the violence, the pow-pow, the noise. They want a smaller city. And that seems like a very nice neighborhood. They said that Nell's daycare center and the school is not too far. I think it's like right across the street. So that's perfect. And shout out to them plugging, all these Black-owned businesses. I love that. Okay, so speaking of Black-owned business, Martell visits Stomi at her warehouse. And as soon as he walks in, I promise Martell can't take anything seriously because he was looking at all of the boxes in the inventory. He's like, uh-oh, I feel a slip and fall come in. She's like, don't do that. Don't play with me. And I don't blame her because Stomi, she's very successful. And congratulations to her, doing what no other content creator or even, businesswoman has done on TikTok, selling $1 million of product during one live in one day. That's never been done. So shout out to Stomi. But they're moving to a bigger warehouse because they're so successful. So that's why she's packing up. But they're talking about, the situation that happened with Miss Black Titanic, that she actually went to Stormi's warehouse. I didn't know that. And again, I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying I didn't have that information before. And I've seen some other content creators go to, whether it's talent on a reality show or, these businesses. I would never do that. I'm not, again, passing judgment on anyone who does, but I don't see the point of going to someone's business. So when Miss Black Titanic went there, Courtney came out and told her, he didn't know why she was there, but they don't sell products at the warehouse. And her and Stomi got into it. And so Stomi said that she was, hemmed up in a charge for harassing text messages, harassing communications. That's the charge. So she was trying to empathize with Martell. Now, Martell's situation is a bit different. And he has a history of being very disrespectful toward Melody. And Nell Fletcher and other people on the show. But, I guess she was just trying to find a point of connection. But she was trying to encourage him, with his building. She's like, keep the houses coming. And, she's trying to encourage him to do well. They were talking about the situation with Martell and Trish. And she has her hands full. It's giving Miss Wanda. She has a husband and a boyfriend. And, the whole situation with Martell, I would just say, let the past be in the past, whether they were in high school or, Martell's been known to step out on Melody as well. And he keeps talking about Melody. Like he keeps referring to her almost in the present tense about their marriage. And it's been years. Like I would love if he would move on. Melody's moved on. She's focusing on her business, getting her bag, traveling, taking care of her babies. And that's amazing. They were talking about the millimeters. Again, you can't control what grown people do. Again, I'm now recapping the show again just because I didn't know that what happened with Miss Black Titanic. And again, I'm not disparaging her. I'm just saying that I didn't know the whole situation. And, you can't control. People are going to do what they want to do. They're grown. They're adults. So moving on to this double date here with Maurice and Kimmi Scott. And then we have Sunni and Moses. So Moses was being really open about his past and him going away several times back and forth to prison. His grandmother gave him her house to have a real estate investment property. And so him and Sunni are looking into the investment business and flipping houses, which is great. That's really smart and very lucrative. The one thing that I didn't like is Maurice during his confessional. And again, this is before his DUI, but he always had something like slick to say. You know what I mean? Like he was like, well, Sunni is a leader in this relationship. And it's, good thing that she is because Moses has made some questionable decisions. Like, come down off that high horse, okay? Because what you didn't know is that pride comes before the fall, and you was going to get hemmed up yourself. Does that mean that, Kimmi was not making a very wise decision in marrying you? Because you were making questionable decisions just a few weeks ago. He's very condescending. I don't like that. So the last scene is when all the grown kids, the Fletcher kids, come over to Chris and Nell's house, and they are talking about, Nell's speaking her truth about the fact that she and Chris are going to have to put some boundaries when it comes to financially helping their children, which, I don't blame her, right? She's like, don't call unless it's like an absolute emergency, because just like the boy that cried wolf, if you keep calling, then we're going to be essentially desensitized to when you really need help, when it's really urgent. One thing, her niece, I think, Kiki, they have a lot of Kikis on this show, but she broke down because, she is pretty much like a motherless child. She says, I don't have my mom, I don't have my father. You guys are pretty much like my surrogate parents. And so, Nell apologizes for hurting Kiki's feelings. But Chris brings up, going to therapy and seeing Dr. Fletcher. And one thing that's really interesting was that her sons, Lance and Chris Jr., suggested that Nell, go to therapy. And so by herself, because Nell told Chris Jr. to go by himself, which is valid, right? In earlier episodes, he shared with his dad about, him feeling possibly depressed. So again, I'm an advocate for therapy. I think it's great. But Nell is old school. She's really stubborn. She's like, no, I'm not doing that. So we will see next week what, happens with therapy. But I do enjoy recapping this show. I hope that you guys enjoy the recap as well. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section. What do you think about the Fletchers going to therapy? What do you guys think about Moses and Sunni moving to Huntsville? Because people were thinking it's a slight against destiny. I mean, I don't think so, but Anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, aces. Bye.